Hello everyone, it's Peter Maloney here. My last video I did was about Gaza, and it was like, what's going on in Gaza? And it was a call to get people to think about what's going on. So today I got a couple of questions. If over the last 3 years we've come to the realization that everything out of the media's mouths was a lie, why is everything they spew now on Israel the truth? Israel and Gaza. Because during the COVID nonsense, there was about 30% of the people that saw it for what it was. Utter bullshit. A lie. Every bit of it. And they were dead set against being told what to think and what to do. That group is now split to a certain degree. I think it's been split by evangelical Christians. Because they see, I shouldn't say all of them, but a lot of them that I see, calling for Israel, do what you have to do, flatten them, kill them all. And I've seen a pastor saying that. I don't know. I grew up in a Christian household, I couldn't imagine having a spiritual leader saying, in a war, kill them all on that side. Because there's a shit ton of innocent people on both sides. Yeah, so my first video about this was asking you to think the question. And I asked how the most heavily fortified border in the world was breached by people on hang gliders that travel at half the speed of smell. You could just pick them off as a turkey shoot if you really wanted to. So there was something just completely wrong with that. I mean, obviously, right? Anything within 200 meters of that border gets shot on a daily basis, including kids. They don't care. So if that's the case, that they just flew over the border with hang gliders, the Israeli forces stood down for 8 hours under order. By who? Why almost all border security was gone that day. Why a rave that was planned for somewhere else in Israel was moved to the point of incursion 2 days prior. So now if you honestly ask yourself what's going on with an open mind, you'll see that the story is not what you're told on the mainstream media. And I know that an awful lot of people realize that now. So since then, some of the stuff we've learned, if you've actually been looking for it, but if you're following the mainstream media, you'll never find it. But since then, we have found that the Israeli Defense Forces shot up the rave, and everybody trying to flee it from military helicopters. All those cars burnt out, shot. Israeli military helicopters. Israeli tanks shot and killed. They just blew up houses that they knew Hamas was in, holding Israeli hostages. And that's their doctrine under the Hannibal Directive. Allow no hostages, so kill the hostages as well. So, this is just fact. So does any of that matter to you if you still believe that Israel has the right to do what they're doing? Does it matter to you? And since then, the Israeli Defense Forces has bombed a whole city, flattened it. 1.5 million people displaced. An awful lot killed, a lot more than what you're being told. Israeli Defense Forces are committing terrorism in the West Bank. There's no Hamas in the West Bank. They're committing terrorism in Syria, Lebanon, bombing Syria. What did they have to do with October 7th? Nada. Israeli Defense Forces systematically now bombing hospitals, schools that are used as shelters. Everybody go into the shelter to bomb the school. Churches, mosques. Churches, you say? Yeah. 35% of Palestine is Christian to this day. So for you evangelical Christians that are cheering for Israel, I think your brother in there. Not that the religion should matter when it comes to innocent humans. It shouldn't matter if it's a Buddhist, Sikh, anybody. If you're an innocent person, you should not be getting shot at, ever. So we've come to the solid conclusion, a thinking mind, that the Israeli Defense Forces and all of their leaders and everybody doing it, active on the ground, is guilty of war crimes, as are all leaders that support it. You know, and you look at the U.S., Biden, he can't think anyway. All he needs to, anyway. And Donald Trump, he's no different. I hate to say it on this matter. He is no different. Our lily-livered peckerhead in Canada, he doesn't know what to say unless he's told. Soros has his hand up his ass doing this with his mouth. Pierre Poilievre is just as bad for calling for the destruction of Hamas. Now, read into that. That means the destruction of all the Palestinian people. And that is the Israelis' intent, to get rid of every Palestinian on that land and occupy the land. That is their intent, and they say it. So they don't want peace, they just want piece by piece. And that's the end of it. And I've recently heard that in 6 days, Israel dropped the same amount of explosives in the form of bombs, explosive power. I don't know how many ordnance, but explosive power as the US dropped in World War II in 1 year. That's a shocking thought, isn't it? There's 1.5 million people displaced. Tens of thousands of killed, half of which are children. Over 10,000 officially killed, but tens of thousands missing. They're under the rubble. Let's face it, they're dead. 40% of them kids. So if there's, 20, 30,000 dead people, there's 15, 20,000 children have been killed. Yeah, almost 50% of the population of Palestine are under the age of 14, I believe it is. So that's, can you imagine? Your kid, carrying your kid out, arms blown off, decapitated, guts open. It's unbelievable. To put that in perspective, it's the same as every city, town, and hamlet in all of BC outside of the Lower Mainland and Vancouver Island. Flattened, bombed. Yeah, Gaza is a lot smaller area, but the same amount of people affected. A lot of people think, it's a little spot over there. It's not a little spot. It's a spot where 1.5 million people have been flattened. And if you think that they're not going down into the south end of Gaza Strip, I mean, they already are, but not intensely like they are in the north. But their plan is to flatten that as well. No doubt about it. So I'm going to give you a little history lesson, but you should do a little looking into it like I have as well. So historically, Palestinians, 800,000 of them, 75 years ago, had their land stolen by the good graces of the world. The UN, I think it was, that was kind of behind it all. England with their, I can't remember the name of the doctrine. But in the original document, Israel could have the land, but could not impede the rights of the native populations. And what did they do? Rounded up 800,000 of them and put them in the largest concentration camp in the world. And they've been there ever since. Monitored, shot at, checkpoints to go anywhere, papers to go anywhere, not allowed ports or their own basic infrastructure. It all has to come through Israel. So they control everything, the water, the electricity, which is what they just did, when this all started. They shut down the water, gas, electricity, shut it all down. Blink, gone. I want you to compare that to COVID lockdowns, how angry you might have been. I was really angry. We were told we had to wear a mask, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, we couldn't go to a restaurant because we didn't subject ourselves to their tyranny. Yeah, I was angry. I was pissed. But you know what? My kids weren't shot at. They weren't arrested and had their arms broken and sent home with arms broken. There wasn't a wall where there was 200 feet from it where anybody stepped within that 200 feet, you're automatically shot dead. There's none of that. And we were angry. So if you think that Hamas or, the Palestinians and by extension, Hamas doesn't have a right to be angry because they're herded into a tiny little camp, I don't know what to say. They have every right to be angry at their captors. So Israel is an apartheid state. You have to understand that it's an apartheid state. Apartheid was wrong in South Africa. When I was a kid, we were taught apartheid was wrong. Why is it right today? I challenge you, it's not. Think about it, stew on it, learn a bit, and speak out against it. It's the right thing to do. I sense a huge shift in the mass consciousness of people. Because 20 years ago, if that exact same thing happened, there'd be a lot of people going, Israel, Israel, Israel. Now there's millions worldwide protesting on behalf of the Palestinian people who have a right to live in peace. Before Israel was created, there was none of this violence in that piece of land that's there now. And the original Judeans that were there and the Palestinian populations and the Christians, they all lived without violence amongst them. It's only since the divide and conquer strategies of the politicians that this is happening. So you let your local politician know where you stand, if you stand for peace. So it's now time for me to do a confession. It's a little embarrassing, but I used to think that Israel was in the right. I did for years because that's what I was taught. Because, the media, governments and everything is controlled by who? Israel. And if you don't know that, it's time for you to do a little research on your own too. It's all owned by Israel. Or their proxies. Or I'm going to drop another little word in here and you can do some research on that. I'm not going to lead you there, but if you go and look up the Khazarian Mafia or Khazarians, it'll tell you all you need to know. That's who's behind this. That's who's behind what happened in every war in our lifetime, pretty much. So, I was in the wrong. I would have to admit. Staunchly thinking that Israel was right. But I changed my mind, and so can you. And I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to challenge you to look into this. Just challenge you to think about it. Not to make some stupid negative comment on it, but to challenge you to think. That's all, nothing more. And if you really want to learn a little bit about this, there's some people that are covering it amazingly with the video footage of what's actually happening. I'm too technically illiterate to even know how to put a little video into this, but I also know that I can't tag a video into the description of this video that's from BitChute or Rumble or anything like this, because they know that that's where the truth is told, so they don't allow it on YouTube. But I'll tell you, you can go to the Crow House or Son of Enos on BitChute, and you can get some video footage of what's actually happening and some really good historical information there. Word of warning to watch videos of what's actually happening. You need a really, really strong stomach. It's not for the weak. It's not for the weak at all. But at least you'll know what's happening and who's doing what. Anyway, to your thinking quest, that I challenge you I hope you all the best. And it's a tough one to go in and look at your own thoughts and dissect them and say, I was wrong. But if you were, and you can say it, it sets you free. I've gotten to the point in my life when it's quite shocking actually, through all of this COVID nonsense and everything. There was so many of my belief system were torn apart. And I got to the point now where I actually don't own any of my beliefs. So I can say, okay, this is what I believe at the moment, but change my mind. I'm open to change my mind. As soon as I get different facts, like a real fact that I can grab a hold of and say, that's it, I change my mind. But actually what it does is creates freedom. I'll challenge the people who are evangelical Christians who are thumping their chests for Israel. Challenge your thoughts from your pastor, on your religion. And if at the end of the day, you still support a genocide, it might be time for a new religion. Have a good day.